Everybody, and good morning to you, Babu. And
Thank you for
I
having me.
welcome to our very interesting fireside chat. It's actually a privilege to host Babu in this fireside chat. I think we have about 45 minutes. We'll keep some sort of a question for the first 30 minutes, followed by a Q&A from the audience. Please don't wait for the last 15 minutes to post your questions. I think just fire them away and so that I can process them as with time. So just to quickly introduce Babu, he's a co-founder and CEO of Jiffy.ai. He's a serial entrepreneur, having worked in various startup companies over the last 27 years. Babu is a co-founder of InvestNet. I think those in Kerala probably most relate to that. And he has played various leadership roles within the company since its inception. He was also the founding CTO of stamps.com, which is a listed entity right now in the US. Babu has been an active angel investor and serves as the chairperson in CareStack, venture funded startup from Kerala, which incidentally I'm also one of the investors, early stage. Babu serves on the digital IT committee of the Kerala government uh, and is a venture mentor to Ivy Cap Ventures. Uh, Welcome, sir, and it's real honor. So I would probably invite you to just talk a little about Jiffy.ai and how you're building a company with global clientele from US and Kerala.
It's a pleasure, Kammath, and great to be here with you, and great to share experiences and things like that. We at Jiffy.ai, we are a software-based business process automation and transformation platform. We work with large Fortune companies, and we enable them to transform and bring resiliency and take their business processes that are potentially manual, that have single points of failure, and we take them on a path of transformation, allows them to make their enterprises, middle and back office of the enterprises, to be resilient and autonomous. So that's what we do. As a company, I'm going to just quickly share my screen. We do enable enterprises to accelerate their deployment of AI using AI and ML technologies. Doing this hyper automation. Primary use cases are examples like mortgage processing, loan processing, customer vendor onboarding, accounts payable, accounts receivable automation, reconciliation. These are all business processes within enterprises. That has the potential to be transformed and automated, and AI and machine learning plays a huge part in automating those. We work today with organizations like InvestNet, Southwest, Volvo, Nike, and we provide enterprise-grade technology. We are very, very strong in cognitive AI abilities, and we are trying to build a company with a strong sense of social responsibility. I'll talk about that in a minute. And we deliver a series of hyper applications. So the way we define hyper applications are next generation applications. So if you look at existing applications today, enterprise applications, they were built with the notion that humans are going to operate them. And what we do here is that take that notion away. Applications are going to be autonomous. So it will engage with the end client, but once data and information comes into the enterprise, it'll be autonomous, and that's what we enable. And we enable that autonomous behavior using machine learning and natural language processing, where machines can automatically perform those functions that we expect humans to translate. Instead, machines will natively understand that, and that's what we power. Now, I'll talk a little bit about how we are building this company. So when we started, it was important to us that we focus on truly transformative capabilities for the enterprise. That was one core, unique vision that we had, and we believe in the power of a large group of people. So we wanted to build a company. These are not unique values that we believe in as a Keralite. We all believe in these key things, right? One, we want to be innovative. We are innovative by nature, right? And so we want to bring that innovation into everything that we do. We believe in the power of a large group of people. So we are strong believers that as a group of people coming together, we can do great things. And so we brought together 20 founders, and a majority of them Keralites. We assembled them, and we are on our journey to transform the enterprises. We believe in spreading wealth. So when you bring a large group of people as founders, that's what you're trying to do, right? And you want to bring them together and and believe in this common vision, and then go and try and execute them. We are, as Keralites, we are strong. We have a strong and deep sense of social responsibility. We want to be innovative. We want to be disruptive. We want to bring positive change, but at the same time, if that impacts people in any way, we want to be contributing to that. We want to be investing in them. So we come with a strong and deep sense of social responsibility. And we are hoping to build an iconic company out of Kerala. And that desire is in everything that we do, including our corporate branding, which many people don't easily pick up. It's a coconut tree there.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I thought it stands for Ellam Pettanarno.
Yeah, no, yeah, that is true. But the branding and so that is green, and that slight brown orange. That's a coconut tree. And so that's what we do.
So tell us a little bit about. So the moment you say automation, there's a natural correlated automatically raise the question. Okay, is it going to replace humans? Is it going to outsmart us? It's going to take us over, right? So what is your perspective on it? And tell us slightly about how we can adapt, right? So basically, this is when you look at a company, right? As let's say the management of the company, right? The professionals, what can they do differently to basically adapt to this change? Because this change is coming, right?
Right. Positive change, improvements in life, that is always welcome. That should always be welcome. So the truly transformative power of technologies like AI and machine learning is it has different dimensions. In a large number of cases, it is making you do better decisions. It is an aid. It is helping you, right? It is assisting you with greater capability. It is helping you not make mistakes. It is helping you be perform at a higher level, right?
Could you give an example?
Yeah. Um, I'll give an example. Like, for example, if you're a radiologist, or and you're looking at X-rays, and you're making decisions based on that. Machine learning and AI based services can enable you to do better, right? Enable you to reduce it. It's an additional. It's like a one more person looking at things, when you two people look at the same thing, chances are that you're going to find errors, in judgment, and these are life threatening potentially, right?
Yeah.
That's an example where machines being able to do, machines today can do much more accurate reading of x-rays and things like that. So that's an example, like in dental space, looking at x-rays and trying to figure out treatment plans and things like that. That those are real possibilities today, right? And that does enable a, a, a person, a radiologist, for example, or a dentist, to be able to do much better, right? So those are simple examples of industries where it's easy to transform and enable those people to do better, right? And then there could be roles where it could be dangerous, to in places where you want machines to be able to do that, and then when you're having to deal with imagine the potential of self-driving technology, right? Now that's a very safe capability, and the amount of time it frees up, in your everyday life. If you're in Bangalore, for example, you're spending 3 hours
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
each
Let's.
morning, both morning and evening, right? So can you imagine that time to be useful, right? So those are technologies, and it is safe, because as if you are in that kind of traffic for 3 hours, and by the maybe halfway through you're tired already, right? Now you are prone to make mistakes, whereas machines never get tired, so being able to deploy that and make meaningful change, that's always for the better. Now there so that is about the improvements that is helping you, right? But then it does have an impact on certain jobs, like for example, um, where you are not applying, if you're doing a lot of data entry, all the value that you add is taking information from one place, or keying them in all the time, right? And there is not enough value being added, right? So better opportunities will open up. So we have to, and that's where certain jobs will have a disruption. But what we need to do is recognize that those jobs will have disruption. Like it has always had. If you look at agricultural revolution or industrial revolution, all these changes, positive changes, that had meaningful impact. We have always had to face that impact, and how those jobs, go into a better set of new jobs opening up. And
Yeah,
what we need
I
to do.
completely agree with you on that, because
Yeah.
you look at the COVID, right? So I can relate that completely to, say, edtech sector, which I'm in. So a lot of teachers, say, for example, were very worried about using computer, allowing students to use internet. But you know, in hindsight, right, when you look at it, this whole COVID has absolutely allowed you to operate. And but I think it doesn't, it still, when you say automation, doesn't it remove some of the let's say lower straight of work, the more manual work? Is there anything that companies can do? And then, you know as a startup, right, how would you approach it, if you want to build a very large enterprise business which is globally accepted, right? You also have to be um, thought leader, and in making it very, in doing it very responsible way. How is Jiffy doing that?
Yeah. So when we started, we had this as part of our core. We have taken it as a responsibility, right? So we knew if any AI company, you are disrupting jobs in some way or the other. And I believe that every company will be an AI company, or it'll deploy AI technologies. It's imperative, right? Just like every company pursued internet and enabled a whole slew of
Yeah.
opportunities and transformation. um, AI will be the backbone of every company. And when you take on that, there is disruption. And as a company, we believe in a deep sense of social responsibility. So we wanted to make sure we commit. We recognize that as a vendor, right? We recognize that there is disruption that we cause, and we wanted to take that head on, right? So in our company, Jiffy.ai, we the largest shareholder in the company is, we have all pledged away a lot of equity to this cause, that we wanted to invest in people who are disrupted, right? So we wanted to work with those our clients, and every one of those clients, we wanted to invest in those people who needs. There are a lot of jobs. So if you look at US, for example, unemployment is pretty. I mean, now with COVID, there has been changes, but prior to that, unemployment was at the historic low. So which means that there are jobs, that you're able to find people, right?
Yeah.
So investing in those people, retraining them, not ignoring them, right? That
Mhm.
is the need of the hour. And whenever transformative technologies have come in, like you have had, as a society, we have to make the decision that we're going to invest. This is disruptive, positive change, but it does come with an impact, right? So we want to invest in those and upskill people who are impacted, reskill people, and that does take a strong commitment from every AI founder, for that matter. So um, that is something very core to who we are as an organization, and that's how we look at things. So it is positive change. It works for the better. It improves life, but it does have an impact, and let's recognize that, and let's do something meaningful about it. And invest in those people, reskill them, upskill them.
That's actually very interesting, and I just see a chat from uh, our Balasan, C. Balagopal, right? Um, so he says, I like Babu's idea that Kerala values can actually help propel an enterprise to success. And I think I definitely see some echoes of the Kerala's social fabric coming into your is that something that could have driven it? You think it's influenced by Kerala?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we are enterprising people. We believe, so it's a unique combination of, if you look at it, capitalism and socialism, right? So you're trying to create enterprise, which is a capitalistic system. You're trying to blend. Kerala has always been that.
Yeah.
We've tried to take the good elements of capitalism, and we have tried to take the good elements of socialism. And if you look at where the world is headed, that's what even in US, right? Uh, the next generation, that's what they believe in. They believe in um, transformation. They believe in leading a good life. They believe in um, you know transforming and making sure everybody is taken along with you. And that's what people, the next generation believes in. So if you're building a company, you have to build for them, not for you, right? So it is for the next generation.
So that's a very I think valid thought, right? And I think if you look at the companies or enterprises that have survived generations, if not centuries, right? I think they have always carried the people along, and I think that's a very valuable insight, the way I see it, and it's a completely different perspective, right? And you're trying
Yeah,
to do
and
it.
Kamath, that is true in so if you look at even the founders, who have created very large enterprises, and they've created enormous amount of wealth, and then they do invest in people, they do give it away, they do have strong charitable causes. That's one way of doing it. So you accumulate everything, and then you decide to, at the end of, towards the tail end of your life, you have this unique perspective, okay, I want to help people, right?
Yeah.
The problem with that approach in today's world is that you're creating disruption, and you're creating uh, affecting people, and you don't have the luxury of waiting for 20 years or 30 years to help, because you need to help them along, right? So that's the unique perspective with which we operate. And so we are extremely excited about creating a corporate structure which is very unique, and convincing, if you're a venture funded company, convincing investors that you would be happy just like an employee, right? Now you would be, uh, and you would commit a lot of um, uh, the equity towards that, so that you're building value, and you're also using that as currency to reinvest in people. It has taken uh, a lot of thought, to create a unique structure, and then convincing a whole bunch of investors. We have a large number of investors, about 40 of them right now. So convincing them that that's the right thing to do. And we strongly believe in it. It's great to have a great group of investors, who are supportive of that cause. And, so time will tell if our unique experiment will be successful. But we sincerely hope and believe that that is possible, and we're on our journey.
We have to hope that you succeed. I think that is the way I put it, and I sincerely wish you best of luck on that. If I may just take slight off topic from here, right? So you have been actively working with the startup ecosystem, right? Especially from Kerala, I know a couple of companies. Uh, so um, so one which I personally relate to is Good Method / Care Stack, right? Um, so you have actually invested and also agreed to be the chairman. Uh, so what kindled that kind of a interest, and how has been the experience, and how do you think you have helped, say, CareStack reach the position and scale across?
Yeah, that one, again, was an accidental. I met the founder. So obviously, as an investor, as a founder, people are investing in you, right? So
Yeah.
similarly, as an investor, um, you know, you are investing in the people, right? That are driving the business. So Abhi, as you know, is an amazing entrepreneur. A strong, resilient character, right? So it's been a pleasure working with him, and I met him through a friend, and it was accidental in the sense, on the way home, I was coming back to US the same day. I had 45 minutes on the way from Technopark, and he invited me over, and explained his vision, and what he is building. And it reminded me of InvestNet, because what we were doing, we transformed the advisor practice, and he was trying to transform the dental practice. And it's surprising that there hasn't been such innovation. Just a web-based, cloud-based platform has come to every industry, and dental has still, and it is still running on desktop software that doesn't talk to each other. And so the transformative power of a cloud-based platform, and the potential to, so it reminded me of 15 years back, what I was doing, right? Going to each and every practice and convincing advisors that a cloud-based system is a better way to operate your practice. So I could relate to it. That was the other thing. And the sheer amount of passion that that whole team demonstrated, it just reminded me of myself. So it's just, it felt that connection. And then I think there was some challenges with investors or something like that, where the company really needed help, and it was one of those things. I hope you don't do too many of those. Like, it was one of those things, where I invested without a paperwork or anything like that. It's just 2 days from payroll, 150 people or something like that, and you just needed to figure out a way to support. It was just feeling to be supporting yourself, so that was but the company and the potential to bring venture capital to Kerala in a big way, right? So CareStack would always be remembered as one where brought a large group of really great investors in Axel and Steadview and others, that Fidelity Ventures, or being able to attract them to and Kerala, and bringing them to Trivandrum, and giving them the golden, what Kerala means. So a lot of people love coming to Kerala and seeing what the state has to offer. So it's been it is, as a Keralite, it just felt good, and it was one of those things.
So if I ask you, so as a startup, I think we have a lot of startups in our audience today, right? And typically that's how Tycoon has a lot of tries to um, promote entrepreneurship, right? So um, it's kind of two questions I would like to ask you, right? So as a startup, right, is it right to seek capital? And for example, in your case, for example, right, uh, I did not think you needed this investment from Nexus, the Series A that you have raised. You could have probably chipped in your own capital and done it, right?
Yeah.
But I see a completely different perspective on this. And why would you have uh, the the investor, right? I mean, for an investor, it is purely, he has to give returns to his investors, right? To the LPs. So why would you onboard um, a venture capitalist into an organization where you want to have a lot of social angle to the whole enterprise, and then why would you do that, and why should a company do that?
Um, yeah. Why do that? So a couple of things. One, nobody has unlimited financial resources, no matter how you do it, how you look at it. And frankly, personally, I don't have, the unlimited financial resources. So what we do, disruptive technology, what Jiffy.ai does, takes a lot of capital. Our competitors have raised $1 billion each, right? That's a lot of capital. And if you're competing against that kind of an environment, you do need a significant amount of capital. Right now, we don't believe we need $1 billion, but we need probably 1/10 of that, let's say, right? And we're going to make up for the remaining 900 million through our sheer hard work, and our heart is that replacing that $900 million, right? But still, it takes a lot of capital. Um, uh, I've always believed in the power of people, a group of people, rather than a single person. Always, win. That's just a given, right? So that's why democratic systems, for example, are always better than even the best
Let me get
autocratic
this
environment.
straight. So you are
Yeah,
saying you are building a artificial intelligence solution, but you still believe in power of people.
absolutely. You
It was
have
joke,
to.
sorry.
Yeah, no, I know. So it is important, and it keeps you honest. It keeps you honest about what you're doing. Are you it's always good to be accountable to somebody else, right? So shareholders, and you don't want it to become a lifestyle business. Now, when you believe that you have the financial resources and you're going to just do it your way, it can take you in a path that I believe is not the most optimal path to building an enterprise. You want a large ecosystem around you, when you're trying to build a great company. And so for that reason, it was important that you bring in a great group of people. Like, so I traveled around US, convinced a bunch of public company executives, CEOs and CFOs, people, some of whom I've known very well, and some of them I met, through that process. And it was important to seek their guidance and capital, and especially people who have built iconic companies. They all have strong perspectives on how to build companies, and so it's great to have great group of people to be part of that exercise.
So you would basically recommend a company, right? Is it so? Let's say we have a startup here, which has global ambitions, right? That's what we are talking about. So how important would you think is a footprint, let's say in the US or UK or outside India, right? How important do you think is that footprint, and is that footprint helped by some sort of a institutional investor?
A footprint is definitely helped by the institutional investors. So now there are a lot of enterprises, that doesn't need venture capital, right? So venture capital is typically meant for very large ideas, very big ideas, and ability to build a large enterprise, But there are, our backbone of the world is not such large enterprises, and it is small businesses and medium-sized businesses, millions of them, right? So uh, that you don't need venture capital. You need financial support, but your friends and family and small investors, that's all you need for creating enterprises. Venture capital, is for transformative ideas, that take a lot of capital, right? The millions of dollars, and so that's when, so there needs to be a fit. The company that you're trying to build, the enterprise that you're trying to build, right? If that is a big scale business that takes a lot of capital, that's what venture capital is for.
But see what happens is in the startup space, there is this worry, right? So if you're completely native startup which is native to Kerala, I think there are a couple of challenges that we sort of face. One is I think yesterday we had Nawaz Miran of Eastern Group talking about his journey, right? So one of the things he was saying, which I found very interesting, is he said, "Look, if you're just here in Kerala, right, there is no peer pressure." Right, so
Right.
so you have to really step out. But I think second trouble is probably that there is this belief across, unless you are based in the US, you probably don't have VCs taking interest in you. There is no valuation, there is no funding. Do you think to be really a global company, right, you will need to be in the US, or maybe let's say headquartered in the US? Or do you think is it possible to do it from India, and what should be done?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely possible to do it from India, right? Now, so the key is the investor friendliness of the environment, right? Now, so for all the progress that India has made, especially in the last 10, 15 years, um, it is still, investors have hesitation to, because we keep changing rules, we make it difficult, we try to tax the system, when even for startups, right? We try to make it difficult. The process is extremely onerous, right? So uh, investors like predictability, and for that reason, a lot of companies, and even companies that are raising money in India, they like a corporate structure in a country that um, don't go back on its promises, right? And continue to help and be friendly, because investors have choices. There are a lot of places where they could deploy capital, and so you want, you're taking a big risk. Every investor is taking a risk in a number of ways. You're investing in ideas that may or may not work out. There is significant execution risk, a whole bunch of risks that you're taking, and the last thing you want is a country specific risk, where you're making it complex, to do business, and that so people, investors like investor friendly places, period, right? So a lot of companies that have raised capital, there has been venture capital backed companies, they have a presence in Singapore. They try to headquarter for in Singapore or other investor friendly countries. US is by far one of the most investor friendly countries. So from that perspective, you do see investors liking that idea. It's easier to attract capital that way, right? And then the other thing is, small enterprises, these startups, their failure is inherent in them, right? So you need a structure that allows experimentation, and if things don't work, you have to be able to move on. So that whole process of start to finish, and if it doesn't work, being able to move on, those are important. So as a country, we still have a long way to go. As an entrepreneur, I can tell, right? So it is still not a great environment. We have to do better, right? So the kind of, when you're a startup, the last thing you want is unnecessary burden by the tax authorities on every little thing. So it's very costly. As an entrepreneur, your heart is in trying to solve that problem. You're spending all the time, that's all you think about, and then you have this administrative overhead that is making it difficult. As a director, you're subject to a whole bunch of expectations, and every honest mistake could cost you, right? So those are difficult environments to operate in as an entrepreneur, because if you're building a startup, your focus has to be 100% on the product that you're building, the service that you're trying to deliver, and that's where the focus, all of that thought process and everything that you do has to be there, and other things are secondary supporting, and it's not. So we need to enable an ecosystem and an environment that allows entrepreneurs to focus on what they are supposed to do, right? And make it easier. And look, these kind of changes are not easy, right? But we have come a long way, right? So from where we were 20 years ago. And maybe Balagopal sir could attest to it. Was one of the early entrepreneurs, success stories, and then what that environment was at that time and where we are now. We have made a lot of progress, but a long way to go. So I wish we continue to make that progress. In making it easier to operate business. And that's a collective responsibility. We owe it to our next generation. Because this is our future, right? This is our future aspirations, and especially when you talk about Kerala, I believe the aspirations of 34 million people are at stake here, right? So the ability to provide each and every one with that promise of creating something better and contributing in a meaningful way, and that is that's what we owe to ourselves. And I was extremely thrilled by the progress, especially Kerala government has made over the last 10 years, right? Regardless of the governments, there is this strong and deep sense of belief that what got us here so far is not going to be enough. We have a vibrant, young group that is coming up, and they need you need to harness their aspirations and give them the ability to create enterprises and create jobs, because nobody's going to solve that problem. It's on each and every one of us to create that, and that's how you become a resilient state.
Just before I carry on, so I would request the audience, if you have any questions, you may please post them in the chat box in the Tycoon Kerala website uh, of this particular event, right? We'll be happy to address a few. So, Babu, what would it take as a startup, right? If I ask you, right, what would it take for a startup to get your investment?
um, I look for character. I look for trustworthiness in the person, or the founding group, and I look for good idea. I mean, great ideas, but I invest in people all the time. I look for uh, uh, when things become tough, right? Are you going to when you get hit, right? Are you going to get back up and continue to be resilient and move on, right? And continue to pursue what you set out to do, because startups are extremely hard. The success rates are much lower. Odds are always against you, right? And so, do you have that character in you, right? So that's what I look for. That's what I look for in myself, right? Are you going to work hard? So a lot of people have asked me, why would you start another one at this stage? So I keep telling, well, maybe one more in the future. Because you're wired a certain way. You look at, say, I've come from a place, where I've seen what it means not to have jobs. Not people. You have the promise of tomorrow that keeps you going, right? Um, you can't achieve that if you don't have the ability. You don't have jobs, and you cannot create jobs. If you So for me, startup journey was all about creating a job for myself, because and that was necessary for me. And in the process, you figured, okay, well, you can create a lot more jobs for others as well. So it was that journey.
So you spoke about getting um, you know uh, wide spectrum, or I don't know the right word for it. The diverse you know people from diverse backgrounds, right? Into building uh, this enterprise, right? Uh, so for a startup in, let's say, Kerala, right, with which is trying to grow, what kind of a approach should they take? What kind of people should they uh, put together? Should they think about co-founders from different places, or should they think of professional? Do you think they should? w- What would be your advice to somebody who has a startup? I think he has a great product, great potential. Uh, what should they do to actually scale, right? What kind of from a people angle, right? What can they do? What should they do?
Yeah, I think as an entrepreneur, you have to have a good group of founding team, right? It's extremely important that I mean, individuals have done great companies, but the odds are much better when you have a group of people trying to do it together, right? Because you go through difficulties along the way, and as a group, you have you're able to navigate better when you have more than one person. It's also important that you have diversity of views, right? So you're going to agree 100% if you are the only person with the view, right? You're always going to agree on 100%, right? But uh, when you have more people involved, right? You have you're able to have healthy debates, and you're able to have different viewpoints in every bit of your strategy or decision making, and from that perspective, a complementary group, of people coming together. I'm always a big fan of that. Um, but there is always still a driver, right? Somebody who's driving the business, and so you have a leader with a good group of uh, founding team members, that have the same, demonstrate the same passion, same commitment uh, towards building the company. That's what you look for.
Right. Again, I think we can take a couple of questions from the audience if you have any. Um, Please post uh, in the chat box. Um, so there is just a comment from uh, Sonia Kriplani. She says, an inspirational session. Someone once said, "Be the reason which make people believe." So you just made me believe. Um,
Oh,
Thank you for that note. Yeah.
that's music. Wonderful to hear that. So thank you.
Probably, I think we can just take one more question. Uh, so we have Balasan talking about his belief in the power of people of the group rather than a single guy or a small group is rare. His faith in the democratic process in the way an enterprise is run is remarkable and is my view. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely the belief, the core belief, and that's not just a unique personal belief. That's what I believe every Keralite believes in.
So I probably have one question for you. So for those uh, companies that are looking out probably from building an enterprise solution, right, which has a global perspective, and also for the professionals and managers who are here. Uh, what do you think they should be looking out, let's say in the next decade or so, in terms of what kind of development will be there in the enterprise software automation? Where do you think it's going?
Yeah, so if you think about it, look out 10 years, 15 years, I believe enterprises will be extremely autonomous. Just like we talk about self-driving cars and things like that. You will see enterprises, the middle and back office of enterprises, being able to be extremely autonomous with various functions that bring agility, right? So the consumers demand, like today, um, if you apply for a loan, you want to get to a point where instantaneously, right? Now you just like at the point of sale, like you want to be able to uh, get loans, you want to be able to onboard a vendor into your system in seconds than days today, right? So a lot of this friction that happens in the enterprise today, I believe that'll go away completely, right? So and these will be powered by um, resilient enterprise infrastructure, right? And that's what we hope to power as well, because uh, that is necessary to provide the consumers with the experience that we all deserve, um, and the technologies like AI make it possible, right? Where a lot of those decision making, a lot of those um, integration of various systems, uh, going in and out. So we've always had this human machine divide, where machines operated one way, and I believe we have converted ourselves to be slaves to the machines, right? So it is supposed to be the other way around, right? We are supposed to dominate, and but we think like machines. We if you look at as human beings, we thrive in this unstructured world. We explain ideas. We don't think like, okay, a bunch of fields, and we are not constrained that way. We say simply, okay, can we book a ticket from here to here on this day? That's how we explain things. But then, is that how we go and book a ticket, right? We go and you have to fill from field exactly there to field exactly there. That's adapting. That's becoming a slave of the machine, because the machine, that's how that's that's how it is designed, right? So finally, it has become possible to harness that true power of the computers, that has always been there. The be like, for example, learning a programming language, that I've hated that idea, right? Because you're learning how the computer is thinking, right? Or rather than explaining what you're trying to do, what you need, right? And the machines should be able to figure it out. So a lot of what we do is making progress towards that promise that uh, uh, that computers provided all the time, right? So we have never been able to fully tap into it. But the next 10 years, and I would think, it's a great time where we would finally conquer computers, and we will enslave them, right? And and we become the masters again.
Right. I have a question from Sunil Gupta, one of our charter member. So his question is product versus platform.
Yeah.
How one go about building this for B2B enterprise software? So product versus
Yeah, no, it's a tough thing. So most platforms, um, if you look at, they all started as a product and eventually became a platform, right? But they've all had ambitions of a platform. Um, so we are also looking at it the same way. We have, the hyper apps are easier to understand. Like, so when you say that, you automate a particular function, like let's say customer onboarding, that is your value prop. That's easy to understand, right? So it's a solution, it's a product, it's a solution. You're moving away from actually product to solutions. That's what enterprise is all about today. Um, and but along with that, the platform goes, and so you can deliver more and more of such solutions. So that's how we have built our platform, our capability.
I guess I'm just making sure I haven't missed any uh, question. So there is a question from Pramod Unial. Uh, NT strategy for the US market.
Um, there are a lot of help ecosystem available. Like, if you're trying to move to US, there are, there is one company that is helping right out of Kerala, like out of Cochin, that is Start Global, right? So that helps provide the infrastructure. Like, it's an online system. I happen to be a supporter of the enterprise, so basically allows anybody in the world, from anywhere in the world, to be able to operate and build a company, establish a company, etc. in US. So what's happening is you have this emerging trend of a gig ecosystem where people want to be wherever they want to be in the world. Like, they want to be um, able to contribute and participate in creation of things, right? But they want to be wherever they are, right? So you have uh, people from all parts of the world creating and contributing to the creation of capability in US, for example. So you effectively become employees without being employees, so you and that requires, so how do you get compensated, how do you get paid, for your services and things like that. That calls for a creation of an enterprise, and getting paid, so being able to create that, set up the company in the US and all that, there are a lot of capability out there that anybody could do that remotely. So you can establish a bank account, you can establish an office presence, virtually.
Well, I guess we come to the end of this very interesting session. I would like to thank you for taking your time out, and then in a very candid and lucid way, helping us understand probably some of the aspects of how to build enterprise, and then build with social responsibility, and build uh, together, and taking the people along. It was actually a privilege. Thank you, Babu, and we will
Thank you,
hope to
Kammath, and it's been
interacting
my
with you
pleasure.
again.